Hi everybody, Steve Borey here from the American Casino Guide. I am the author, and this is Matt Borey.
And I'm the editor. And today we have a little bit of a different video for you guys. We're doing 8 things to never do in a casino. We've done a lot of videos about things you should do in a casino, but we thought we'd change it up a little bit and give you a list of things to never do in a casino.
Okay, and we're going to start off with number 1, which is, and this could be bad for a lot of people, don't drink too much alcohol.
Yeah, so if you're going to Vegas on a trip, I mean, people that have never been there before are sort of blown away that you can sit down at a slot machine or sit down at a blackjack table, and as long as you're playing, they'll just bring you free drinks. And there's kind of a reason they bring you free drinks, because the more you drink, the worse your decision-making gets. You know, some people just love throwing around money when they're after they've had a few too many. And there's just a lot of, when you're dealing with that much money in a casino, you know, you've got a lot of decisions to make. They don't go well together.
Yeah, and now some states, they do not allow you to, the casinos to serve free drinks. There's a few in the Midwest, like Illinois, Iowa, Indiana. They do not allow free drinks. But if you go to Vegas or Atlantic City, Bahamas, the drinks are free. And speaking of Bahamas, reminds me one of my first experiences when I went to college. I had a friend, well, actually he was my roommate, and we went a college roommate. We went to the Bahamas because my uncle was working there for an airline, so we got a free trip, and my uncle liked to gamble. And unfortunately, my uncle was not a good gambler. He would get drunk and lose a lot of money. So that was a learning experience for me, because I could see that he was not good. But my friend, who one afternoon we went to and we didn't have much money. We had like $100. He had been playing blackjack, and he was drinking, and he built this up to like $1,500. It was crazy. He kept winning, but he kept betting more money because he was drunk. And I kept telling him, oh, that's good, come on, let's go. And he said, nah, get out of here. And I said, I know what I'm doing. So anyway, of course, he lost it all back. But, yeah, you really don't want to drink too much alcohol when you go to a casino. It could be very bad.
And we're not saying don't drink at all. Like, go ahead, go and enjoy yourself, but just don't get drunk. Because if you get drunk, then you end up doing something stupid. All right, so number 2 on our list of things you should never do in a casino is get a credit card cash advance. What you can do is you can go up to the cashier cage at a casino, you give them your credit card, and then they'll charge the credit card and give you cash for it. And it's a very expensive thing to do. If you look on the screen right now, that's a picture we took at one of our local casinos of the fees they charge to get a credit card cash advance. And if you look at that, if you were to take a $500 cash advance, you're paying 6% there. And then we looked into it, and then you have to pay another 5%. Your bank is going to charge you 5% on the other end. So that's 11% right there. Plus, you have to pay interest on any money that you take, which can be anywhere from 15 to 25%, depending on your bank. So if you're in a casino playing a negative expectation game that you should expect to lose on, and then you're paying at least 11% up front with a $500 cash advance, you're starting off $50 in the hole right off the bat. Like, would you ever go into a casino? If you went into a casino and gave them $500 cash and they only gave you $450 for you to play with, you would never do that. So you should also never take a credit card cash advance, because it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, so with credit card cash advance fees, it's very exorbitant. But we're not talking about an ATM. You can go to the casino, and usually the fee to use an ATM is probably not bad, you know, $2 to $3. But you just don't want to use your credit card to get a cash advance in a casino. Okay, number 3 in our list of things to never do in a casino is overbet your bankroll. Now, let's say you're going to Las Vegas for 5 days and you have a $500 bankroll. You'd probably want to break that down into, you know, $100 a day for the 5 days. You don't want to blow it all in one day. But also, when it comes to the individual games and how much you're betting on those individual games, there's a sort of a formula for that, or sort of a rule of thumb that you can follow.
Yeah, so what they say is on penny slots and nickel slots, because the house edge is so high, if you want to be able to play for 3 hours and not lose your entire bankroll, they say that you should have 250 times your bet in bankroll. So if you're at a penny slot machine and you're betting 50 cents a spin, 250 times that is $125. So that's what they say is if you're betting 50 cents a spin on a penny slot machine and you want to play for at least 3 hours, you should have at least $125 in bankroll. The same goes for nickel slots. It's the same 250 times your bet. But once you get up to quarter slots and above, since the house edge is smaller, they say you only need about 200 times your bet for quarter slots. And same for dollar slots.
Okay, now one of the reasons they say you should do this for 3 hours, to try and make your bankroll last 3 hours, especially for a slot player, is that there's a lot of volatility in the game. So you're going to have a lot of losing sessions, and then every once in a while you're going to get lucky, and you're going to have a good win. So you want to make sure that you're, you don't want to lose all your money in 10 minutes and never have the opportunity to get that big hit. So 3 hours is probably a good time frame to go with. So because you're going to have a lot of losing spins, but every once in a while you're going to get that winning spin to help bring you back up or actually put you ahead. So that's why they go with that 3 hour number.
So the thing about slot machines is you play them extremely quickly. You make about 500 to 600 decisions an hour playing a slot machine. If you're on a table game, however, it's a much slower game because there's other people playing with you. The dealer has to deal the cards. When they're done, they have to shuffle the cards. So it slows down the rate of play significantly. So you're only making about 50 to 100 decisions an hour playing a table game such as blackjack or let it ride or 3-card poker or something like that. So they say that to fill in that same 3 hour window of play, you need a bankroll that is 50 times your bet. So if you're a $5 blackjack player, you need at least $250 in bankroll to last for those 3 hours. So like he said, if you go to Vegas for 5 days and you only bring $500, that's $100 a day. You don't even have enough to sit down and play blackjack with that bankroll, $5 blackjack. So what you should really do is if you're going to be there for 5 days and you only want to bring $500, you should really only set aside maybe 2 days to play that you're going to dedicate to playing for 3 hours. Because, I mean, if you want to play $5 blackjack to play for at least 3 hours, you need a $250 bankroll. So, I mean, the $100 bankroll is not going to last you very long. All right, number 4 on our list of things you should never do in a casino is chase your losses.
Yeah, by chase your losses, that means if you're having a bad day in the casino and you're losing more than you expected, no matter what you do isn't working very well, then you get mad and you get upset and you start betting more money and say, oh, I'm going to get this money back. So that's not a good idea.
Yeah, they have a term for it in poker. It's called going on tilt. Like if you'll see it every once in a while if you watch these World Series of Poker things on TV, where one guy has a winning hand and there's only 3 cards on the board and there's still the turn in the river, and the other guy has 1 card from the entire deck that he needs that he'll beat that guy with, and he gets it on the river, and then the guy, whoever lost a hand, it's a bad beat, will get pissed and he'll start throwing his money around. You know, he's angry, he wants to make his money back, so he starts raising when he shouldn't, calling bets he shouldn't, making bets he shouldn't, you know. So it's kind of the same thing when you're not playing poker, just in a casino. Like if you're playing blackjack or you're on the slot machines, you know, sometimes you got to just admit it that it's not your day and just cut your losses and leave and save it for another day to come back and win it again later.
I'll give you a little story here. My worst day ever gambling, and I've been gambling for 50 years. I did the math on this play to go into a casino and do this particular play, and my expected loss was supposed to be $150. And it didn't quite work out that way. I lost $5,000. But that's what happens. You can have a bad day. It's gambling. Even though I know what the casino advantage was, and I did the math on it, and this is what I expected it, but that's a long-term number. Because, you know, over thousands and thousands of hands, that's what's the your expected loss is $150. I just had a really bad day and lost $5,000. So, you know, I didn't get mad and you know, say, oh, I'm going to get this money back and chase it down. I just said, hey, you know, I had a bad day, but in the long run, I know what I'm expected to lose in this game. And you know, I kept playing or either there or somewhere else, the same game. And you know, it averages out in the long run. So anybody can have a bad day. And if you have a bad day, just say, you know, it's not your day. And whatever you do, don't go getting angry and try and make more bets and bigger bets to try and chase your losses. It's a bad idea.
All right. Number 5 on our list of things you should never do in a casino is get a line of credit from the casino. Now, this one's kind of debatable. You know, it's if you trust yourself, you can go ahead and do it. But, you know, there's some people out there that once they get the money, they just have to bet it and they can't be trust themselves. If you're one of those types of people, then you definitely should not get a credit line from the casino. But this one's definitely a little debatable. This is the only one on the list that could go either way.
Now, I've gotten credit lines in casinos in years past. I got one in the Bahamas, in Atlantic City, in Las Vegas, and they are somewhat convenient. What you do is you just apply for credit, and they'll contact your bank, whatever the banking information, make sure you have enough in there. Say you want a $5,000 line of credit, and then they'll contact the bank and make sure you have $5,000 in there. And when you go to the casino, if you play a table game, they'll come over with a marker. You say you want a marker, and you sign this, and they'll give you chips. Say you draw at $500 or $1,000 at a time, and they'll give you the chips at the table. And so it's convenient because I didn't have to bring cash with me to the casino. Now, when your trip is over, say you're at the casino or your vacation destination for whatever 4 or 5 days, they would like you to pay it back. Now, you don't have to pay it back at that exact time, but if you don't pay it back, they'll send you a bill in the mail, and you should pay that.
But if you win, it's very easy, because if you win money, then if you took out a $5,000 marker, you won $1,000, you have $6,000. You just give them their $5,000 back, and then they close out the marker, and you're square, and that's that. But if you lose money is when it gets a little complicated.
All right, so if you don't have the money, you should probably bring a check with you to pay off the marker before you leave on your trip, but you don't have to. They give you about 30 days to pay it off, so they'll send you a bill in the mail and expect you to send them back a check and pay it off. Now, if you don't pay it off, this is where it could be troublesome, because in Nevada, and I'm not sure how it is in other states, but in Nevada, when you sign that marker, what it is basically you are signing a check. So if it says in there, whatever you got, $500 or $1,000. So if you don't pay off the marker, they will take that marker and they will submit it, because it's basically a check with your checking account number on there, and they will submit it to your bank. And if it goes through, if it does not go through, if it bounces, you have committed a felony, and they will issue a warrant for your arrest, and they want their money. So a credit line can be a serious thing, especially if you can't control yourself. So if you have the money and you don't want to carry cash with you, it could be good. But if you can't control yourself and you're going to write a marker for money that you don't have in the bank, it's a bad idea, because it could lead to some serious penalties. Okay, number 6 on our list of things to never do in a casino should be pretty obvious to everyone, and that is do not cheat or even try to cheat. Don't even think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say that a casino is one of the worst places to ever attempt to do something illegal or something you should not be doing. There are cameras everywhere. There's probably cameras covering every square inch of a casino. I don't think there's anywhere you could be in a casino with not have at least one camera on you.
Now, one thing, I was going to give an example of a way someone could cheat is possibly, there's a thing called past posting. Say you're at the roulette wheel, and then the ball's spinning around, it lands in a number, and the dealer's not paying attention. Someone could take a chip and put it on the number after it's come in. That would be called past posting. But again, like Matt said, if there's ever any question on the part of the casino, they can always go back and look at the video, and it'll be rather obvious that someone was trying to cheat at the game. Now, one thing we need to clarify here: cheating is not, let's say, it's not the same as a dealer error. Say you're playing blackjack, and the dealer accidentally pays you for a losing hand or a hand that tied, and they shouldn't have paid you for. If you take that money and you put it back in your chip tray, that's not cheating. It was a legitimate dealer error, and you can't get in trouble for that. But actually trying to do some form of cheating, like I said, past posting, or another example when you play.
Yeah, when I play at the craps table, I've seen people do all sorts of crazy stuff. And if you've ever played craps, you keep the chips up on your rack that goes around the table, and when you're done, you put them all down on the tables in a stack, and you say, "I want to color up," and then the dealer will put a button on it that says "off," so that everybody at the table knows it's not a bet. And then after the dice are thrown, they'll take them and color you up and give you back bigger chips. But what some people will do is they will take a big stack of chips and put it on the layout somewhere that is also a place where it would be a bet if it was just a regular, like, 2 chips bet. And what they'll do is they'll set the chips down, and they won't tell the dealer that they're coloring up, and the dealer will just see a big stack of chips and assume that they want to color up. But then if the dice come out and the dice hit numbers that would have won on wherever that bet is, people will go, "Oh, no, I wasn't coloring up. That was a real bet." Or if they'll try and say that if they put money down and the dice come out and it loses, they'll say, "Oh, no, that wasn't a bet. I was trying to color up." And I mean, it's just a dumb idea. I've seen a lot of people get in some serious trouble for that before. Another thing you should never do is, if you're playing any of the carnival card games like 3-card poker or Ultimate Texas Hold'em, is try and trade cards with somebody else. Like, if you're sitting next to somebody you know and you're playing 3-card poker, and I have 2 cards to the royal flush and he's got the 3rd card to the royal flush, and the dealer looks away, we can't just trade cards real quick and then have the dealer pay me at the end, because you think that would work. But what most people don't know is that the continuous shuffling machines that they use, it'll stick out the 3 cards and they take it and give it to the first person, then it gives another 3 cards, they take it and give it to another person. Those machines actually scan the faces of the cards, and if you have a big payoff like a royal flush like that, or something that pays a lot of money, the pit boss will actually come over and go over to you'll see them press some buttons on the shuffling machine, and they're actually going back to make sure that you were actually dealt those cards, so that you didn't trade cards with somebody else at the table. So a lot of people don't know that. I was sort of blown away when I saw that the first time, and was because I asked the guy what he was doing, and he said, "Oh, it scans the faces of the cards. I'm going back to make sure nobody was cheating." All right, number 7 on our list of things you should never do in a casino is, unlike number 6, this is something that a lot of people might not know you're not supposed to do, and that's take credits left on a slot machine by somebody else.
Yeah, the money on a slot machine usually belongs either to the casino or to the state, so they don't like it if you take credits that are left on a slot machine. Now, if you want to find something interesting, you should Google, what's the term, man?
Colorado slot ticket arrest.
Yeah, what happened in Colorado, in the mountain towns there, Black Hawk, Central City, they were arresting people for taking credits on a machine. Some people may not even have known that the credits were on the machine. But there's an article, you'll read an article about a guy who got arrested for 76 cents. And he has a criminal record now for taking 76 cents from a machine. Now, we understand that sometimes, I've been in casinos where you see people that look like they might be homeless or something going around looking for credits on a machine. So I could understand them hassling people like that, but this was evidently someone who was playing in the casino and just happened to find that on there and probably put it in with his money or cashed it out. I'm not sure what he did, but he was a regular casino player, so you don't want that to happen to you. So be aware that if there are credits on a machine, don't cash them out, don't play them, just ignore it and go find another machine, just so you never find yourself in a situation like this.
Or what I'll do is, if I'm ever playing on a machine and I notice that there's a ticket or there's some change left in the machine, I'll press the cash out button, and then I'll take the ticket and I'll put it on the top of the slot machine, just so that the surveillance, all the cameras will see that I took it and just put it away and so that I didn't keep it. I mean, that's one way to not get in trouble for it. But there's actually multiple cases in Colorado where that happened. There was one guy who, I think this was the guy he was talking about. It was a ticket for 76 cents. He was playing on one slot machine, looked on the next slot machine over, saw it had 76 cents. So while he was playing on this one, he hit cash out, took the ticket, put it in his, and then he left, and he didn't get caught that day. But then he said he came back a second time, and he put in his slot machine, or his Players Club card, and as he started playing, he said the security guards came over and got on their radio and said, "Oh, we finally got him," and we're like treating him like a felon. Just for taking 76 cents. And there was another person who claims that they didn't even notice that there was credits left over in the machine. It was same thing, less than $1 was sitting in the machine, and then they put in their money and just started playing it without even noticing that. And the same thing happened. They came over and got arrested for it. So I mean, Colorado seems to be the only place that actually enforces that rule, which is kind of it's a stupid rule for people like that.
But it could be enforced. Technically, any casino could enforce this if they want to. So just be careful.
Yeah.
All right, which brings us to number 8 on our list of things to never do in a casino. And you see a lot of people do this, and they really shouldn't. And that is to blame your losses on other players.
Or on the dealers.
Okay, so you give an example of some dealers.
Yeah, so I mean, every once in a while when I'm in a casino, I like to play 3-card poker or Ultimate Texas Hold'em. I mean, I know it's a bad game. I just have fun playing it. And there was one time where some player was not doing well. They were losing money, and they got real nasty with the dealer. And the dealer was just sort of laughing it off, and then he kept going. And then so the dealer finally says, he looks at him and goes, "Hey, man, don't blame me for your bad cards. Blame Sam." And the guy looks at him, and he's confused, and he's like, "Who the hell is Sam?" And the dealer points at the continuous shuffling machine. He said, "Sam, the stupid-ass machine." He said, "I'm not shuffling the cards. Don't blame me. Blame this thing." So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's what happens. People say, "Oh, I was winning until this dealer came in, and he's unlucky. He brought me all this bad luck." So, but it's not the dealer. All the dealer's doing is just dealing the cards. The other thing is, say in blackjack, what will happen is people sometimes, and I tell people, I said, if you don't know the basic strategy, it's really not a good idea to sit down at a blackjack table with other players, because there's a tendency for them to blame you for their losses if you do something that they think hurt the table. And the reality of it is, it doesn't matter how anybody else at the blackjack table plays their hands. Sometimes it will hurt you, sometimes it will help you, and in the long run it balances out, and it doesn't matter what they do. So if and people, I remember one time I was on a casino boat here in South Florida. This had to be about 15 years ago or so, and this guy was a terrible blackjack player. And everybody wanted to yell at him, because that's what they want to do. They want to lose a hand and say, "Oh, well, you took the dealer's bust card. The dealer would have busted if you didn't take that card." And it was the only time I ever saw it like this. Like 5 times, the guy made a stupid move, definitely against basic strategy, and everybody won all 5 times because of this dumb move that the guy was making. But you could see everyone knew that they'd all look at each other like this. But everyone got lucky. So just know, try and control yourself. Don't blame it on them. It's their money. Let them play their money whatever way they want. Lose. It's their money. Let them lose it. And the other thing I tell people, it's good that there are bad blackjack players, because it makes it better for you, because they'll lose their money because they're bad blackjack players, and you will not lose your money. Well, you'll lose less money if you're a much smarter blackjack player. So don't let bad players annoy you.
And the most infuriating thing is people at the blackjack table will yell at you and call you an idiot, even if you're playing perfect basic strategy, even if you do a move that they don't agree with, even if they don't know how to play blackjack, and you do know how. I've had it happen to me all the time,
Usually the most common case is when you hit a soft 18 against a 9, 10, or 8. So your basic strategy says to hit that, and then people say, "Well, you're stupid, you had an 18, you should have stood." And, well, no, but basic strategy says to hit that. So that to me is the most common one that I know. All right, so number 8, our final one now is don't blame your losses on other players. But Matt, we'll let Matt finish with his one story about the Hard Rock when he was there with the guy went over the table.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. This was the craziest thing I've ever seen in a casino, hands down, and definitely exemplifies the extreme of blaming other people for your losses. So I was at the Hard Rock in Vegas And there was a concert that night. I forget what concert it was, but there was a very interesting mix of people that were there for that concert. And anyway, so I'm sitting there playing blackjack, and I'm over on the left-hand side, and there's another guy sitting right across from the dealer at second base, and we're playing. And the guy is losing a few hands in a row, and he looks at the dealer and says, "If I lose one more hand, I'm going to kick your ass." And the dealer laughed it off. I laughed it off. The other guy at the table laughed it off. Because on top of that being a really stupid idea, the dealer had to have had at least 100 pounds on this guy. So sure enough, the next hand, he loses, and without saying a word, he dives straight over the blackjack table at the dealer. And it was the most insane thing I've ever seen in a casino. And I mean, of course, the dealer had 100 pounds on him, so the dealer just picked him up and slammed him onto the ground and just started standing on him and waiting for security to come over. But I mean, it was insane. Like, you should never do that. It wasn't the dealer's fault. He's just dealing the cards to him, man. I mean, he's just doing his job. You can't get mad at somebody for doing their job. But that was the most extreme case I've ever seen.
Okay. Well, that concludes our list of the top 8 things you should never do in a casino. Thanks for watching, and best wishes for good luck in the casino. Don't forget that you can see more of our educational gambling videos on our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/American Casino Guide.